Hey guys, this is Manshark Sub LPs. I'm Sub, this is Europa Universalis IV, and this is episode 10 of the AI's playthrough of our little save file. Let's get moving. Don't know what just happened there. Maybe new Pope. Anyway, France has actually been doing pretty well for itself. They're currently in Regency Council, I think. They were last time I checked. Yeah, Regency Council for Otto. Not too far away from him coming in, and he's kind of shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. The important thing actually is that I noticed this because I went in and checked things. We can't check it now because, you can't do this sort of stuff to other nations. But the Edict of Nantes, or Nantes, or however you pronounce that, went into effect, which means that the Catholic religion tried to strengthen itself a little bit by embracing the heretics. It hasn't done them too bad, to be honest. The only issue is that the Catholic religion has a 200% reform desire, which is why we've got a lot of this sort of shit going on. Can't wait to see how we manage to handle that when it comes to our turn to do stuff. Have a little look around the world though. So Egypt and Arabia are still doing their thing. Mali's still doing its thing. Great Britain has started to colonize in there, and Provence has gotten a bit of land down there. Kill was taken over the coast. Great Britain starting to make their push around into the Indian Ocean. Korea has done really well for itself. It's taken Mongolia and part of the Oirat lands, and it's now in contact with the Volgabog area, so we'll see how that goes. Random noises. And America! Well, looks like the Inca are going to be dead in a bit. Or, have to lose some land to the British. Poor Castile. And... okay. Yeah, so New Brabant has really taken up their position here. They're at war with people for. Nah, whatever. Not too important. Let's get back to Europe. So, off topic. The Shadowrun game happened. I don't want to say it went well, because there were certain... Like, as a game, it certainly happened, and the players were successful in their objective. But I wouldn't say it went well as a Shadowrun, and I've had this discussion with a couple of other people, unrelated to the game, that they have a tendency to sit around and wait for something to happen to them, and I'm pretty sure I've gone over this before, but sitting around and trying to wait for something to happen to you doesn't really, set the tone. Oh look, France is getting one vote. They won't get many others because they're getting that one due to, vassalage. Yeah, Valencia looks like it'll stay. That's Brandenburg. Yep, no, Brandenburg, my mistake. Brandenburg looks like it'll stay as emperor for a while, which is good for the imperial authority. But yeah, so things went well in that they succeeded at the mission. So the mission was, I can go over this now because the game's happened and all that sort of thing. They were hired on they were hired on as security for this rich, arms dealer's daughter, and they went in there expecting that they'd have to protect the daughter, this 10-year-old kid, and that's fair. That's exactly what they were supposed to think. That was the point of me wording it like that. But what's this? Galapagos, Great Britain. Oh, good on them. Nobody in the actual islands itself, though. Korea's doing really well for itself. Good lads. And they're also allied with Ming. So, yeah. Truces are all around. Yeah, so they went into the place expecting that they'd have to like protect the daughter, but that wasn't the case. The father and daughter were going on a little trip to Egypt, so from down here over to here, and they couldn't take the daughter's pet with them, the pet leopard. So the Shadowrunners were hired to sit in the compound, to defend the compound. Excuse me. They're hired to, basically be the leopard's security for 5 days, like protect the leopard. Like, oh, well, why do you need to protect the leopard? Well, some environmental activists had made threats against the leopard. The sort of, it's not a pet. You're not supposed to have that sort of animal as a pet. It should be free and all that sort of stuff. Which, they probably had a point. It's a fucking leopard. So, over the course of the next 5 days, like, the Shadowrunners were supposed to protect this thing, and obviously they can't all stay awake at once, so they set up a little bit of a sleep rotation thing. But so over the 5 days, the group that the environmentalists had hired, because they certainly didn't go in themselves, they hired another team of Shadowrunners to go in. And so the whole point is that over the next 5 days, in each day, a couple of things happened unless the players acted to stop them, or were able to identify and stop them. They stopped a couple of things. They stopped astral observation on the astral plane. They stopped one drone being infiltrated in. They didn't stop another. But just, so this Shadowrunning group that was against them was just occasionally doing little forays and probing attacks and taking out, say, cameras and things like that, as well as infiltrating in elements of their own team in order to make the eventual attack on the last day a lot easier for them. It gets confusing when you call them both Shadowrunners, doesn't it? Because technically they are both teams of Shadowrunners. The players did win. They did survive. And the leopard did as well, which was the important thing. It was a close fight. I managed to down one of the players' Shadowrunners, but it wasn't like it was a fight that they could win fairly simply, to be honest. I mean, the other team was split up all over the place. The only real problem was that they had one of their drones there with a light machine gun on it, which is standard armament for the drone, and it was tearing shreds off the players. But all through the fight, I know you get a bit of this just from players being players, but all through the fight, a couple of them were whinging about how it was obviously an overmatched encounter and they should just surrender and let what was going to happen. But these players have been going on about this for the entire mission, that they should just bail on the entire mission, sell the cat on the black market, kill the cat, just, that sort of stuff. Which, honestly, I didn't anticipate. I didn't anticipate that they'd discuss something like that seriously. It was pretty easy to put a, sort of contingency into plan. I wasn't going to stop them from doing it. I mean, the cat might have tried, but, the cat was pretty cool. But, yeah, hey, Cypriot's getting up quite a lot down here, isn't it? Well, doing pretty well down there. Are you allied? Well, you're at war with Crete, Nicaea, Kurdistan, and Chasinian. Allied with Arabia. Not bad. And Alamara, this guy in here. Is he all of Kurdistan? Yeah, what's it for? He's trying to take Konya, which is... honestly, this one here. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. Just check on France's ideas. Oh, they're also at war with a few places. Zekerland and Brabant. Winning the first one handily. Anyway, ideas. Espionage, really? Why would you? Poor choice, bro. Poor choice. At least I've unlocked all of their national ideas, so that's pretty good. 19 military. How does that compare? Oh, very favorably. Very favorably. And only minus 34 prestige. Damn, dudes. Coming back strong. Yep, King Otto is in, and his heir is shit, and I'm pretty sure Jut is a female name, so gonna suck for the HRA stuff. Oh, keep it coming, guys. So yeah, it was pretty easy to put a contingency into play of, if they go and solve it. It would have ruined the session because I wouldn't. How hard is it to kill a leopard and then fuck off or whatever? I mean, I could have done a little bit of RP with him trying to find a black market contact because they don't have one. And honestly, that's something they've really overlooked in their little list of, because I put him in Arabia away from everything normal, and they've got no real idea of what's going on around the place. No contacts, nothing like that. I gave them a free 1-1 contact in their apartment block just as an information source. And they've put together a little list of we need this thing and we need this thing and we need this thing in terms of equipment. Like they want a fake SIN or citizenship papers, basically. If you're not aware of what shadowrunning shit is, we want this thing, and it's all equipment. Every piece of it is equipment. Well, do you want to know anyone? Do you want to set up relationships? Because that's still a goal, even if it's not necessarily something you can buy. You can at least make efforts towards doing it. And theoretically, you could buy it, but little things like that. And with this fucking leopard, so it was great fun GMing the leopard. The leopard was just being a dick to them all the time. It was great. Just slinking away, hissing at them, knocking things off shelves at them, pouncing at them when they're all alone and just knocking them down and wandering off. Like, yeah, that's right. I'm the boss. It's pretty awesome. Good, this shit's all getting up. Did you lose that war anchor? Yeah, it doesn't look like you lost anything in it though. No? They've gone to war with the Aztecs. Yeah, it's a British conquest of as well. The Aztecs are losing it pretty solidly. Newfoundland's expanded out as well to meet some natives. In fact, the entire eastern seaboard is getting filled. That's fine. That's what's supposed to happen. It's interesting. So yeah, thankfully they didn't decide to tranquilize or kill the cat and sell it, because that would have, when I say ruined the session, it would have made it 5 hours shorter than it was. That's what am I supposed to do after they do that? Yeah, go and sell it. 5 days later, the dude's going to get back and be pissed, and then you're going to have issues because you're burning bridges before you've even crossed them. But yeah, there's not really much you can do to stop them doing it at the time. Nor should you, to be honest. Player agency and all that. I mean, I'm pretty easygoing with just rolling with what the players do, but you do need to plan out some things. Just because, well, if you just rock up and say, alright, what do you want to do? And you've got no idea about anything that you can sort of shoehorn into that, or, what's the word for it? Schroders cat your way into things, that sort of thing. If you don't have anything that you can do there, then you're just gonna stumble your way through things. Unless you're really fucking good at improv. I'm not. I do a fair bit of it in terms of the GMing, but if I had to freeform everything, I couldn't do it. It's just that simple. Yeah, okay, looks like Protestantism has died down a fair amount here. It's good. Reformed is still kicking... Well, they're both still kicking around, and Protestant is better than Reformed. But, yeah, France is really getting up. I'm glad to see that. It's actually quite a large swath of good land. Korea is at war with Volga, Bulgaria. Why? Why are you at war? They're reconquering something. Volga, Bulgaria is reconquering something which is theirs. Alright, no problem. I ain't got a problem with that. It's like watching all of this expansion happen. Jeez, poor Castile. German Brazil is going to fuck them up. But yeah, I mean... they're really just... What's happening here? Britain has pretty good prestige. I mean, not great, but it's not negative at least. So, yeah, if they did that, I don't know what I would have done. Like, I know what was going to happen a few sessions later, I mean, but I wouldn't know what to have done at that point in time. So I'm glad they didn't do it. Mauritania's getting smacked again by Mali. Yep, glad they didn't do it, but what they did instead... So they set up a... They didn't really set up much of a defense. I mean, they walked around the grounds a little bit. I mean, they didn't go into it and work out exactly what the ground's defenses already were. And the dude didn't tell them because he was on a little bit of a hurry to get on his plane. They did manage to get access to the exterior surveillance network, which was great, because that's a thing that got attacked later on. And I gave them the first day... Excuse me. I gave them the first day to familiarize themselves with the grounds. Some of them, I guess, sort of did that. One of them tried to stay in contact with the cat, or, you know, the leopard, the entire time, which was great. That's very good. Why do we have minus 10 prestige? No reason. Okay. Yeah, so it's very good like that. Two of them sort of cycled between, like, the hacker character, the rigger hacker, and the gun guy, I guess you'd call him, the ex-military gun guy, cycled between watching the security cameras in virtual reality, because they're the only two with the ability to go into virtual reality, which is a real fucking shame. I mean, the ability to do it without trode nets, which they still haven't cottoned onto. Like, oh, you need a data jack to do it. Like, no. No, you don't. Buy a set of trodes. Just put them on your head and off you go. You can take them off. It's fucking 2072. Shit's moved on. So, they were, you know, alternating. I got a 16 and an 8-hour shift. 16 for the hacker, 8 for the gun guy. Just watching these cameras, and any other time they'd just be sleeping, or the gun guy, because you don't sleep for 16 hours. He'd do a little bit of a perimeter walk, which was great. It was really good. I'm glad that somebody was walking the fucking perimeter. It was a big perimeter, which was the main issue, but at least he was doing it. The mage sat inside most of the time doing his research, which is fine. It's sort of a character thing, but I mean, they were employed to do a job, not to sit around and just sit around and do what they would normally do. So I'm a little bit disappointed that that's what the mage was doing. In the morning he did an astral sweep of the grounds, but yeah, there was only one astral event and he picked up on that and dealt with it. But just like some dude hires you for your job, just, guard this person, you're like, yep, I'll just do my own thing in the time while I'm guarding the place. Like, come on, guys. Come on. And what did the other one do? I honestly forget, so it couldn't have been too involved. But yeah, so the probing attacks are basically 2 on every day apart from the first, and 3 on the 4th day, and none on the 5th day. So 2 on the 2nd, 2 on the 3rd, 3 on the 4th. And they only picked up on the astral spirits on the 3rd day, and the 2nd drone being infiltrated in on the, I think that was the 4th day. Yeah, must have been the 4th day. They did pick up that their cameras were being destroyed on the 2nd day, and did chase the guy off who was doing it, but not until he destroyed the full northern sector of cameras. Which was neat, because that's where the drone infiltrated him that they caught. So, yeah, good on them there. But it's just plainly obvious that they didn't consider themselves to be shadowrunning. Either that or they don't know how to shadowrun, which is a greater issue, I think. I did give them less build points for the generation because they're supposed to be starting out as shadowrunners. But standard build points is 400. The book says go to 300 if you want them to be new entrants. I gave them 350. And they still whinged about it, because, players will whinge when you take anything away from them. But, yeah, it was just really, a couple of them constantly whinge about, or make little snide, offhanded comments, which I don't appreciate very much in any way, shape, or form, about how they're, they got gypped out of, build points and that sort of thing. 1, gypped is racist. It's a racist term. And 2, it's the game that we're playing. Fucking deal with it. Who owns this? Is this Ming? Ming owns part of Japan. Wow. That's cool. How you doing, France? They're involved in that war against Mauritania. It's the 4th Egyptian purge of Mauritanian heresy. Yeah, being Protestant. Well, you gotta stick together, bros. Oh, Pope's being attacked by Pisa. By a whole bunch of places. Yep. Well, hopefully the Pope continues to exist. That's kind of important for Catholicism. A bit of lag there. Yeah, okay, looks like Great Britain took a fair chunk of the Aztec lands. Good job, bros. Good job. Oh, Castile's colonizing. Oh, France has taken parts of German Brazil. Well, part of a lot of things actually. They must have just sailed a couple of dudes over. Good work. I'm actually pretty happy that Castile is now colonizing again, because that's not gonna last, bros. But yeah, so with the Shadowrun, I can't... Like, it was disappointing in that they obviously don't consider themselves to be Shadowrunners at this point, or they don't know what Shadowrunning entails, which they should, because 3 to 4 of the 5 players are, like, they've played before, like, they've played quite a few of these games before. I've played with them, like, these Shadowrun games before when one of the others was GMing, and I really, really like playing Shadowrun, to be honest. Mainly because of the character generation. The character generation is phenomenally complicated, and I'm a real whore when it comes to complicated systems like this. Just because you can get a piece of equipment, then you can modify that equipment, and you can put attachments on the equipment and modify those. It just goes and goes and goes, and it's beautiful what you can do with a character. A couple of them did that, which is great. Hell, the new guy, the guy who's new to Shadowrun, did it. Like, it's great. But I've been fairly disappointed by their attitudes towards the game and towards what's happening and that sort of thing, and just how they're conducting themselves. Which is a shame, because it's a great campaign. Nope, still haven't reformed anything. It's a great campaign. It's got a great setup. And I mean, the basic idea is you go full Drake. You start from the bottom, and now you're, awesome. But you got to start from the bottom. You don't get to, like, just come in and be Drake. The hip-hop artist. Mayan nationalists taking advantage of the Aztecs being split up. Geez, Newfoundland's actually pretty big, isn't it? One thing to watch out for, actually, with these colonies is, like here, New Brabant already has a liberty desire of 48%, so they may rebel. And it'd be cool, because then you'd get independent colonies. That's something we didn't actually have in R1, because we kept our colonies on lockdown. We weren't stupid with them. The AI, it's not necessarily stupidity. Oh, look at this one, 75% by the German West Indies. It's not necessarily stupidity, but you kind of want to keep your colonies on lock. Because if they rebel, they're independent nations, and, well, there you go. But yeah. Just... I don't know, they're really murder hoboing. And the most disappointing thing is when I present them with a situation and they don't try and do anything. They sit there and they say, and I quote, "We wait for the next story event." That is the most irritating thing when you're trying to run a group of, like, run a game. Because at that point, they're not immersed. And honestly, we wait for the next story event? That's metagaming. How the fuck do your characters wait for the next story event? What's even going on with that? I mean, it shits me off. We wait for the next story event. It's like, okay. You want to wait in real time for that, or... When I say it's metagaming, it's because the characters are acting in a way that they would not do so if they didn't have knowledge that they were characters in a game. They're acting on the player's expectations of what's going to happen, not like based on what information they have in the circumstance. And yeah, you gotta kind of put in a bit of, yes, you are characters in a game. So, like when a monster appears, unless the role says unless you fail the fear check, you don't run away or crawl into a little ball or whatever, you fight it, even though that's not necessarily what your character would do. You understand that as a player, as a character in a game, you're supposed to fight the challenge. You're supposed to defeat the challenge. You're not supposed to... And this is the other thing about them trying to sell the fucking leopard, or thinking about it. When confronted with a challenge, also with a fight, when they're all clamoring about surrendering, when confronted with a challenge, you rise to it. You attempt to deal with the challenge and overcome it. You don't throw up your hands and, say, well, fuck this. You're a protagonist in a goddamn story. Anyway, I think I've bitched enough for that half hour. So let's just pause the game. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. So I've been Sub. You've been yourselves. Later.